The basic posture for belly dance is very important and something that I emphasize a great deal. It's important to the dance to make sure that you are working core muscles and that you're moving in a way that is stretching the body and strengthening the body, but not straining the body. The posture is also very important, not just for when you're dancing, but for your day in, day out life. You want to adjust your posture and the way that you stand towards this basic belly dance posture every time you remember it. It's important for anyone, but it becomes doubly important when you're pregnant and as you grow bigger and bigger. You want to stand in a good way so that all of your organs are still being able to function and you're able to grow that baby. The basic posture, shifting your daily life into the basic posture, can be alone extremely beneficial in helping to relieve lower back pain and hip pain, any of the things that can come along naturally with pregnant. So many women have said that the posture alone, let alone the dance, just the posture, adjusting the way that they stand and move throughout the day, really helped with their lower back and whatever else they have going on in pregnancy. So I'm going to go through the basic posture in detail. First is the feet. So we want our shoulders, hips, and feet all in a row. So if you find where your hip bones are and put your hands on them, pointing your fingers down, you want them pointing at your big toes. So as you get more and more pregnant and your hips get wider, your stance will get wider. That's fine. You want a nice solid foundation. And the feet are, we don't want them too wide for the dancing because then we start to use larger muscle groups. So I'm doing some hip circles now and I'm not using any core muscles. But if I bring my feet under my hips, now I shift into using the smaller set of muscles in my core. And we want our feet solid, where your toes, the balls of your toes, the heels, you feel them all touching the floor all evenly. You don't want to lean forward or lean back, but right in the middle. Likewise, right and left, you want to be right in the middle. Moving up to the knees are always bent. And this style of belly dance for the birth journey, you always want bent knees. They never ever straighten. And likewise, in your day-to-day life, if you are someone who stands lock-kneed, you really want to bring attention to that and remind yourself as many times as you need to bend your knees through your day. So with the knees bent, that brings our pelvis over our feet, where if we straighten, lock the knees, we get the tilt of the pelvis and the belly coming forward. So this stance with the tailbone popped up, now my upper body, all the weight of my upper body is falling on these little lower back muscles. They're straining to hold up my upper body. Now when you have a baby growing, that's even more strain on that lower back. So that's one of the main reasons that women get the lower back pain is from standing with their knees locked. It brings the pelvis back and the strain on that lower back. Also, midwives have, I gotta shake that out of mine. Midwives have told me that they believe that standing like this, the lock knee with the pelvis tilted, some midwives feel that it's one of the top reasons that babies can get stuck into strange positions because the pelvis is pushing the baby back this way, where we want nice open space in the sacrum and the baby being able to be guided naturally by gravity. So all that happens just by bending the knees. And we want them to be bent where you feel that your thighs are holding you down, grounded into your body. That's how bent we want them. If you bring your knees up, they're sort of a little bit bent, you feel your thigh muscles start pulling up and engaging upward. You want to feel the thigh muscles engaging downward. And the knees are bent and loose, so they're not bent and frozen there. They're nice and loose. This position of the pelvis never happens in traditional belly dance, and definitely not while pregnant. For the strain of the back and for the position of the baby. So the pelvis wants to be right over the feet, nice and relaxed. And when we bring the hips around, we can shift them back and still have that open pelvis. But in basic posture, shoulders, hips, and feet all in a row. Just like a foundation of a house. If you have blocks stacked on top of each other, they're right on top of each other for the best balance. And then the spine is like any rebar in there, holding it all together. So the spine is tall and lifted. The belly stays relaxed. There's no holding the belly in the basic posture. Spine tall. We're going to roll the shoulders back and then relax them back there. And that lifts up the chest, lifting the rib cage up off of your organs. As the baby gets bigger and the womb is growing and the baby's pushing up from below, all the mother's organs, it gets a little tight in there. So trying to digest food and breathe, all of those things get a little more constricted. So the shoulders back and the rib cage lifted gives the mother the most amount of space she can have here. And some women who suffer from heartburn during pregnancy, which is really just indigestion in the stomach, it's not the heart, it's the stomach, if they slouch, that can, and the baby's growing from below, that can bring on the heartburn. So some women have said that adjusting their posture throughout the day, making sure their stomach has lots of room to work, completely relieved their heartburn. So then the shoulders are relaxed. There's a little visible strings holding your chest up from the middle. Shoulders relaxed. The neck is tall and the jaw is relaxed. All in a good line. So if we stand here for a moment, you can feel everything stacked up on top of each other and the good strong spine pulling you up tall in the center, and everything around can relax. Now this posture might feel strange at first if you're not used to standing this way. Our culture does not tend to stand this way. It's a very straight-kneed, butt-out kind of culture. So adjusting that can feel really weird. And for some people, it actually feels like they're off balance because their brain doesn't recognize this position. It doesn't equate it with balance. So a mirror can be helpful to make sure that you are in fact in line. And the more that you adjust yourself and get used to it, the more natural it will feel.